Hello, everyone. Here's Massa from Coinix, and Coinix is a blockchain investment firm based in Hamburg. Today, I want to interview the founder of one of our portfolio companies, Florian from Blockpit. Florian, it's great to have you here. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for the invitation, Maza. Looking forward to the interview.
Thank you for being here. Would you please introduce yourself and tell me how did you end up in the blockchain industry?
Yeah, you already did a great introduction. So I'm one of the founders and CEO of Blockpit. Personally, I have a tech background, so I studied software engineering and then went out into the business world and started working at KPMG after the studies, so audit and tax firm. I was never really in tax. I was there in digital marketing. And during my time there, I actually got into crypto in 2015. So as a friend dragged me to an event where somebody sold mining hardware for crypto, and that was my first contact with Bitcoin. And obviously, as like the tech nerd that I was quite interested in like blockchain technology, but also Bitcoin in form of like an asset, and obviously potentially making money by investing. And so I got head over heels into everything. Tried out stuff. I did mining in my cellar. I invested into like ICOs in 2017, where everybody did an initial coin offering. And then suddenly I was there with 20 different exchange accounts. I had my hardware wallets, I had my mining operations. And the financial ministry of Austria actually issued a statement on the taxation of crypto assets. And I had a big problem, right? I had no idea, was I tax frauding? What were my tax liabilities? And so I went to different accountants and tax advisors, and nobody could help me. And so then the idea came about like, okay, I need to write software that can calculate my taxes, my tax liabilities, so I can actually stay compliant. And that's when Blockbit was founded in 2017.
How would you introduce your project to your grandmother?
That's a hard one because it's really like a niche that we are doing. So obviously with my grandmother, I'll try to somehow find a similar thing in the past. So potentially like if you're investing in stocks or in gold, right? And you make a profit, it goes up in value and you sell it and you earn money with that, then the state or the bank takes a portion of that earnings for your taxes. But for crypto and the new financial market, this is not automated. So there are no banks involved, there's no state involved, but you still need to pay your taxes on your profits. And so now you yourself or a tax advisor has to do the calculation for you. And we provide a program that automates that.
You mentioned that you tried to find a solution for a problem that you were facing yourself in the crypto market regarding taxation. And this is how Blockpit was born. But is there any aha moment that you realized this is what you want to dedicate yourself to?
So obviously we started as like a hobby, like solution for myself, right? It was like solving my own problem. I didn't have like this business idea behind it. So I wasn't planning on selling the software. I just was planning to use it for myself. But actually, I had then obviously had like colleagues and friends who also were in crypto, and they were like, "Oh, I need this too," and "Oh, that's such a great idea. You should uh, basically push that forward, not just as a hobby." And obviously, I had a job which paid for my bills, and just going head over heels into like a startup with no idea on what to do was a bit risky and scary. But I started going onto like different pitch events where I actually pitched the idea. And there was a woman in the jury, and she was from a bank. And she was like, "Oh, this is interesting." I was like, "Okay, if a bank says that's interesting, there's probably money to be made." And that was like the moment where I was like, "Okay, I should risk it. I should go all in on this idea."
This is so interesting that you created the software, first of all, for yourself, and then you decided to push it forward for expansion. I think it shows how legit your project is, and it's solving a real problem in the blockchain industry. Yeah, so moving forward to the next question, you've already covered it in your former explanations, but would you please explain a little more about the problem that Blockbit is solving?
Yeah, I can probably go a little bit into detail on that. Basically, there are two components to the issue. First is like the data aggregation, right? So you're using different wallets, you're using different exchanges or other crypto service providers, and all of them are different. So the technology that they use, the blockchains are different, the assets are different, the products that they offer are different. And so the first problem that we're solving is like aggregating this data from different sources and standardizing it. And also enriching it by different parameters like pricing data and valuation for those transaction data. So that's the first thing that we are solving by automatically connecting to those different players and real-time aggregating the data. And then the second one is calculation of your tax liabilities, right? And potentially other figures, like you maybe want to know something else about your portfolio. And so the second part is basically getting like law into code, like regulation and how things need to be handled, and program that in an algorithm to automatically calculate it. So we have like the data aggregation and we have the tax calculation. And the tax calculation is different for every jurisdiction. So it's completely different in Germany, Austria, UK, US. So you need to build this for every jurisdiction. And so those are the two key parts that we are solving with software. And ultimately you get this application that's helping you for portfolio tracking, but also your tax liabilities.
What Blockpit is doing is definitely necessary in the market, but it might get a bit complex regarding different crypto regulations in different countries. Which countries can actually use Blockpit at the moment?
So right now we're focused on 9 different countries. Obviously started in Austria, which is our home market and where we are headquartered. Germany, Switzerland, France, Spain, the UK, Netherlands, Belgium, and the US. And more to come. You can actually use us in all countries. So we do have like a generic reporting, but like full automation and audited tax reports we do have in 9 jurisdictions at the moment.
Would you mention some of the recent updates, partnerships, and advancements of Blockpit?
The most recent one is probably the acquisition of our largest Swiss competitor. So we're actually using like the down times in the market, like the crypto winter, regularly for acquisitions. So we actually acquired a German competitor in 2020, and now in November last year we acquired the biggest Swiss competitor. So the market is consolidating a little bit. People are really struggling, especially in those like 1.5, 2 year downtimes where fundraising is really hard, the market is really hard. So you need to have good financing, strong backers, strong shareholders, which we luckily do. Which is why we can use those opportunities. So that worked out quite well, I'd say.
Do you know any other project in the market which is doing the same thing as Blockpit?
So there are 2 larger competitors remaining within Europe. And then there's a lot of those in the US. So the US obviously a big market and it's the same size as Europe, but you have to only do one jurisdiction. So it's a little bit easier, but obviously there's a lot of competition. So actually there are 3 unicorns in the US doing what we are doing that raised at a billion plus valuation back in 2021. So those are huge in terms of valuation, but not actually a lot bigger than we are in terms of traction and revenue. But it was crazy times back in 2021, absolutely. And the 2 competitors that we still have in Europe are like Coinly and Cointracking. And that's also our ambition to take away their market share in the years to come.
So I'm done with my questions. Is there anything else that you would love to share about Blockpit?
Obviously, the market is quite interesting. So there are 2 main drivers for our business. One is the crypto market. If prices go up, everybody is happy and making money, then you have gains, and you only have to pay taxes if you have gains, right? So if there are only losses, then it's not as interesting. But the way bigger one for me is regulation. And we've been doing great process on the regulatory front, especially in Europe and the EU, with MiCA regulation that came out, with DSC 8, which will come out in 2026, which is obviously going to push our business, because at the moment, tax compliance in crypto, it's not that high. It's hard to really put a number behind it, but there have been some studies that estimated to be like between 1% and 3% of crypto users who actually declare taxes. That might not be like something on bad terms or voluntarily, but they don't know or they can't do it. It's a really complex topic. There's no enforcement behind it so far, or little enforcement, and little education. And we're going to see a big shift on that part with especially the DAC8 and the crypto asset reporting framework, which will force all the service providers, exchanges, custodians to share their users' transaction history with the authorities in all the different countries. And I guess that we're going to see more enforcement then, which obviously will be good for our business.
Definitely. Education and regulation are two of the most important factors when it comes to expanding the realm of the blockchain industry. There are some people who have not invested in the blockchain industry yet. What is your message to these people?
So I'd say you should try it out. Just take a little money, right? Not a lot, just money you're willing to lose. And it's probably gonna be worth it anyways because you're gonna learn a lot if you do it. Like if you really download a wallet, set up something, try it out. You're gonna be surprised on how good the usability has gotten in the last years. And if you compare it to traditional financial instruments, what blockchain-based technology actually can offer. So don't invest everything. Don't take on a credit or something to go all into crypto, but just maybe like 1% of the money that you're willing to invest. Just put it into a Bitcoin or something else, just for the experience of it. It never hurts to invest in yourself, right? In your knowledge. And you're going to learn a lot and you're going to be at the forefront of the technological revolution. I think blockchain is going to be the next big thing since the internet. It allows like a decentralized transfer of value, which is really big. And I think the big institutions have already grasped that. We've seen a lot of progress there, like now with the ETF as well. So you shouldn't be left behind. So just try it out, take the time, educate yourself, do your research, and I think you're going to like it.
Indeed. For sure, it doesn't feel good when the mass adoption happens and then you feel left out. We're done with the interview. Thank you for your time and have a great day.